Well, hello there. And this is Auntie and Bishop. And we are here to do our review of Ready to Love, Season 4, Episode 5, Eyes Wide Open. Are you ready, Bishop?
I got my eyes wide open. I think I am.
Okay. So we'll be right back right after this intro.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
that
You can make this up. Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even fuckers?
Aunties and lies, sweet old auntie. Aunties and ways. Are you okay? Are you okay?
So we are back and we are ready. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, oh my God, thank you all so much for joining this family. To all of my nieces and nephews and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. I am here with Bishop. And Bishop, why don't you tell them where they can find you on YouTube?
Here on YouTube, Auntie, thank you. Over at Let's Talk to Cutler. Right here on YouTube. Auntie, I have to say, you look wonderful today. I mean, I was walking the beach and I thought I saw you. Did I see you early at the beach? Come on.
No.
It wasn't you. Okay.
It wasn't me.
That's why she didn't speak. All right. Okay.
You might have been a twin. You know what I'm saying? There might have been a twin.
All right. I like that. I like that beach look, though. You look
But
good.
I love that yellow on you, though. Real men wear yellow and pink. You know that, right?
That's right. We're not intimidated by colors.
That's right. Thank you so much, Courtney, for the $4.99 super chat. You look beautiful, Auntie. Thank you.
Yes, you do.
Thank you. It's just hot up here in my office. It's a Sunday. It's a relaxed day. It's hotter than a mofo up here. So I was like, I've got to pin this stuff up. Okay. And I got to cool myself down. So I actually have a fan going. My hot flash fan is going as well.
The look works for you. I'll tell you that.
Thank you. So Bishop, if you had to rate this week's episode of Ready to Love, Season 4, Episode 5, Eyes Wide Open, what would you rate it?
C minus.
Bishop!
Yeah, well, in terms of the action, Auntie, I may rate it a B. But I think about how some of the people get on my nerves, and I think that affects my ratings.
Okay.
I think about how some of them get on my nerves, and that might affect my rating. But in terms of the movement and the action, a B. But some of those specific people, they might have pushed it down to a D. But I like the episode. I had fun watching it.
Okay. Well,
what about you?
If I had to rate the episode fairly, I would give it a B minus.
Okay.
B minus C. But I wouldn't give it a C minus. I think that every time we find something out different about the cast, or we get to know them a little better, it ups the ratings for me. If it's something that's just mundane and we don't get anything out of it, no divine revelation, if you will,
divine revelation,
then I'll rate it lower, right? But I thought that this episode was really good. Of course, I predicted who would go home, and we'll find out at the end whether or not Auntie was right, on target, or not.
Yeah, yeah, we'll find out.
So anyway, we opened up this episode with the couples coming back together and all of that kind of stuff. And basically, Tommy came in and told the crew, right, that he was going to be having a masquerade party for them later on during the week, and that they needed to come dressed to impress and be ready to get their dance on and all of that kind of stuff, and see who they would be with later on. So this week we know that there were going to be women. The men were in the power seat this week, and that the women were going to. I mean, the women. One of the women was going to go home at the end of the week, and so the men, had they needed to find out who these women were, and who was actually ready to love. I thought that this, I can't remember why can't I remember who the first date was?
But Auntie, tell me what you thought about that little opening teaser that they gave us though. Remember Tressa and Diedrich when it first opened? They were at what was that spice place. Remember that spice exchange?
Was that at the opening?
Yeah, it was near the beginning. Yeah.
I thought no, that was
It wasn't. I thought just before we saw them getting ready for the masquerade ball, we saw.
Well, we did see Tressa and we saw
Diedrich.
someone else that went on dates that they didn't show last week.
Yeah.
So they did open up with at least that, because remember we were talking about, why we hadn't seen them go on dates. So they did actually show that, they did go on some dates.
Yes.
For some reason, I want to say it was someone else that opened it up, but maybe it wasn't. But let's go ahead on and talk about it, right?
Okay.
So so Diedrich decided, is his name Diedrich?
Diedrich, yeah.
Decided that, since he had saved Tressa, that he really wanted to see whether or not it was a good save or whether or not it wasn't. He wanted to see if it was an opportunity for romance or for some type of chemistry to kick off. And unfortunately, Tressa came in, and I think she's too guarded. But anyway, she came in. If Diedrich wanted romance, right, a spice shop isn't the place. That's the first thing, right? Because
he started talking about some animal's anus and the smell from
right,
the
vanilla
animal's anus.
extract. Right, with the vanilla extract. And I just was like, if he wanted to get chemistry started with her, and he wanted to see whether or not there was a romantic a connection between the two of them, then take her to a place that invokes that kind of feeling. Bishop, what do you think about that?
I think, Auntie, to be honest, that's the piece that put a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay, that's what got the C minus.
That's what got the C minus, because when we saw the snippets from the dates, I was cool with that. But when I saw Diedrich, I to be honest, I may be hard on the brother, but I was disgusted with him. I was just absolutely disgusted. I was thinking, so you bring her to a spice exchange, and then you keep talking about, I'm going to see if I can get. No, the sister has already shown you. This is who she is. Don't keep toying. And I'm not going to get upset again, because you told me I went into daddy's mode the last time we talked. But so when I saw that, Auntie, I was just really done with him. Just done with him, and said, leave her alone. Now to me, you're becoming an emotional bully.
Wow, Bishop.
Yeah. I mean, I came out of the gate hard with him. I was thinking, you've been an emotional bully. I'm just going to see if we can vibe again, if there's something else there. So what are you doing different? If you want different results, are you giving anything? Or are you just showing up as the same person each time? So if you're trying to pull. All right, I'm gonna stop. I was just thinking. No,
Bishop.
Yeah, so brothers, if you think there is more to get from a sister, are you doing anything different, or are you just doing the same thing and expecting different results? I was done. I was done with him.
Bishop, you reading?
Sorry.
You are reading them, bitch.
I'm
So,
so
so let me ask you a question, Bishop. Okay,
yes.
and we're gonna veer off real quick. If you was interested in Tressa and you thought, okay, somebody said Bishop is on point. Yes, he is. Okay, I see. We got to catch Bishop midday for the read. So, Bishop, if you were looking to see whether or not there was a romantic chemistry between you and a woman, where would you take her?
Uh, the beach, the park. I wouldn't take her to a place that would preclude us from being able to talk. I would, in a park, we can be around people, but be with each other. So we can walk whenever we want it. We can sit down when we want it. We can just lie on the grass on a blanket whenever we want it. And so we can spend time together, share those moments. Even on if you're talking about at the beach, someplace that gives you the opportunity to talk and you're not restricted by time. You're not, and there's no dinner that interferes with what you're trying to do, but it's just me and her. While everybody else is around, I learn in that moment to let her know that I know there are other people, but I'm here for you. So it would be some place that would give me an opportunity to specifically focus on her and allow her to enjoy the scenery, but no, this is me.
Okay,
I'm right here. And so because what I believe in creating safe spaces wherever we are, I would want her to know that the space I'm creating is an emotionally safe place for her. Yeah. So wherever it would be, I tend not to like dinners initially. I like to give an opportunity to get to know each other and to be able to talk and laugh as much as we want without thinking, oh, people are going to hear me laugh. People are going to hear me talk. I won't be able to ha 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 and just, so when I'm into her, I want to laugh at what she says. That's funny. So all of those things. So yeah.
go ahead, Bishop. The women is eating it up, Bishop.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true.
It
Brothers
is.
have
Go ahead.
I just want to say brothers have to think about a space that is emotionally safe for a sister. And we have to think about that. So wherever it is, that ought to be our goal.
And there's something about being in nature that relaxes you automatically. And so I think that I would agree with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing like hearing crashing waves
Yeah.
to relax somebody. And so you may be able to, in those safe environments,
Yeah.
the rustling of the wind
Yeah.
in the trees, nature just brings out, it causes you to relax automatically. And so
Mhm.
that gives you more of an opportunity to let some of your guard down. Of course, you're going to keep some things reserved for yourself, but for the most part, you are absolutely going to be able to relax. And I think that that's good because you get to see people and then you get to be with each other
Yeah.
and all of that kind of stuff. Excellent day,
Yeah.
Bishop.
Yeah.
Excellent
Yeah.
day. Women, the way the women are responding, you may be going on one soon.
All right.
Okay.
Listen, I keep a blanket. I keep a blanket in my car for the park, and I keep seats in my car for the park.
Okay, I used to. I don't
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
I think
It's the pandemic, Auntie. That's what. It's the pandemic.
yeah. Oh, okay. So so anyway, he decided that he was going to put her in the friend zone. Because when he gave her a hug, it was a church hug. And I think that, when a man is interested in a woman, he wants her to know he's interested, then that one-armed church hug is just not going to do it, right? We look at the way that Joel hugs Vanessa, Vernice,
Phoenicia, you're right, Phoenicia.
Venetia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he hugs her with that, he brings her in.
Mm-hmm.
And she just flows it right into his arms. And so he has to look at himself, right? And I don't know if a lot of it was just peer pressure. I think a lot of it was just peer pressure, because the other guys weren't in so much in agreement that he double thought him. he second guessed himself
Ah, I got you.
as it related to her. But if I could retitle this whole episode, I will call this episode Mommy Zone.
Tell me why, Auntie.
Because there were two women who were put in the mommy zone.
Oh.
So anyway, we're gonna.
Mommy Zone.
That's what I would retitle it, Mommy Zone.
I got you.
So we saw the double date at the ice skating rink with AJ and what's her name? Start with the K.
Kyra.
Kara and the Fly.
Alexis.
And what was his name? Well, think of these people damn names. Let me pull up this damn cast.
Right. You would think we didn't watch the show.
I know, but I did watch it, but I just cannot, it takes me a while to get names down because I will fuck up a name. And so, and names are important. Ready to Love cast. Let me bring these mofos up.
I can't wait to see and to hear what your nieces and nephews thought of this episode.
Okay, so let's find this. What was his name?
What was that?
Okay, hold on. I got the cast up now, so I can stop fucking up people's name. Jason,
the coach. Jason, the coach.
Right. So we saw that they went out on a date. AJ, during that date, began to tell her that, you know what? I've been looking at you the whole time. He said, I got my eye on you. He told the guys back, at the lounge that, she was a forgiving woman and all this kind of stuff. She forgave him for, using her credit card to pay for their dates. Sorry. And so... And so, she's giving into that, or at least, just trying to go with the flow with that. And then we see, Jason have a moment on the skates with aggressive ass Alexis, aka the Fly, who wanted to know and who continues to ask everybody, am I your number one? Okay. And so he told her, I can't get you out the mommy zone. I see you as the mommy. Yeah. I don't see you as a girlfriend. I can't get past the fact that I'm your son's coach. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, yeah, good, because I don't want nobody dragging me along. He ain't been dragging you along because at the whole time he's in like with the other young lady, right?
Right.
He's absolutely in like with the other young lady, the lawyer. So what did you think about that, Bishop?
I think when people define a box for you, they've told you that they've given you their angle. And this is my angle of you. And if it's not going to change, accept that station. And either we will relate based on how you've defined me or where you've put me, or we won't relate at all.
Right.
So if someone puts me in a brother box, it's my opportunity to either respond and relate as a brother or not respond at all. So if I wanted more and a sister said to me, I just kind of see you as a brother, appreciate the honest moment, appreciate the honesty, and then just say, okay, she sees me as a brother, and count it a privilege to still have some kind of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see more and want more, well, she defined the box. So when people tell you their perspective of you, take it for what it's worth.
So what did you think about what Deirdre said to Tressa when he said, when a man likes you, you'll know it?
Diedrich is not one of my favorite characters, not one of my favorite guys. It was very honest. It was honest and it was telling, but you can't say one thing and push for something different. If you're going to speak out of your mouth pretty much that says, hey, I see you as a homegirl, as a homie, don't keep trying yourself. So yes, so what he said was true, but it was just, I thought his actions was just a little inconsistent with that.
But Bishop, is that always true that if a man likes you, you'll know it? Are a lot of men more hunters than other men are hunters?
A lot of my brothers would disagree with that because the hunting skills are different. The hunting skills are different. So if he's just learning how to hunt and he doesn't know how to handle the gun, she might not know it.
Okay.
Yeah, she might not know it. It's just like sitting down to dinner, and I'm not demeaning women when I say this. This might be a piss poor example, so don't try to shoot me for this. But it's like sitting down to dinner with someone, and you're enjoying the dinner, but you don't quite know how to express it. And so the person who serves the dinner might have to ask you, well, do you like this? And you're sitting there with a blank expression on your face saying, oh, no, I really like it. But your body doesn't say it. Your body doesn't say it. And so, no, I don't think brothers are always excellent communicators. That's one of the things, that's one of our deficits, that we don't always communicate. So, no, I don't think it's true that if a man likes you, you'll know it.
I don't either, Bishop.
Yeah,
I don't either, because sometimes you can get a vibe off of a man, but he may never pursue you. That doesn't mean that he did not like you. Wasn't interested in you or attracted to you. It just means that he didn't know how to hunt your prey. He didn't know how to hunt the type of woman that you were. And so instead of him venturing out into new territory, he stayed with the status quo. Do you believe that?
While you were saying that, I thought, Auntie, that if we men don't always know how to emote and know how to voice our emotions and communicate, why do we somehow think in our egos that if we like a woman, she's going to know it? We could be mad at it and she doesn't necessarily know it. We could be disappointed she doesn't necessarily know it. So what makes us think that we're excellent when it comes to hunting and communicating what we like when there are other times we don't communicate? I just think we have to be a little more open about our communications so that we don't mislead women. And I think that goes two ways, but I'm just talking to the brothers. Let's not mislead them. Don't just say, hey, if I'm into you, you'll know it. That's sometimes for some men, that's a cop out. That's the way of really saying I'm not into you. So say that. Don't lead her around the mulberry bush. Just say it. With all disrespect, I'm not into you. And you don't have to play it up or all that, you're lovely and beautiful and you got a nice personality. No, just say, sister, I'm not into you. And don't make her feel bad for thinking that she missed a cue that you never gave.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Bishop.
Yeah.
Because I think that there are a lot of men who are attracted to women and they don't pursue. And before, I'm just going to drop this out there. We're going to go back, but I just want to drop this out there. When they were at the Masquerade ball, Tressa said, I think some of these men want to be pursued. Do you remember she said that at the Masquerade ball? And they were like, I don't have time for that, to be pursuing a man. And I found in my age bracket, I don't know about the young girl. Well, no, I know about the young girls too, because a lot of women now are pursuing men. They're even getting to the place where they're the ones that's dropping down on one knee and proposing to these mofos and buying them a ring. Like, who does that? So for me, I would rather be alone than to have to pursue any man for any reason.
I try to be a 21st century brother, but I got a whole lot of old fashioned stuff in me. I can't get with that either.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't understand it, and because she wasn't, and for a woman, it's like, how do you know how to be, right? So that's why I always preach being authentically who you are, unapologetically, because if she was like Alexis, that may have been a turn off. If she was it's because she was herself, that was a turn off. Like, damn if she did, damn if she didn't, right? So you
Yeah.
don't know how to be with a man like Diedrich.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know. I don't know generationally a lot of women who would pursue a man. I think women still drop hints. And it's one of those, hey, I'm going to drop a hint. I think that's cute. I think that's fun. Brothers like the hints. We like that because it means when you drop a hint, it means it's kind of open season for us, especially if it's a sister that we like, and you drop us one hint, and we're interested. We're gonna pick up that hint, and the next thing you know, you got a whole 5-course meal.
Okay. Well, Dr. Payne Nestor, thank you so much for the $19.99 super chat. Thank you. Isn't she beautiful? Just beautiful.
Oh yes, absolutely. She certainly is.
Thank you. So I see Mary telling something. So she says at Jewel Cool, they are good friends. So let's go up and see what Jewel Cool is talking about. Auntie and Bishop look like they would make a good couple. Mind your business, Joel.
Jewel, that's why I was upset with Auntie when I was waving and hollering at the beach earlier today and the woman didn't speak back. So I had to say, was that you I saw at the beach? Oh, that's why she didn't speak back, because it wasn't you.
Jewel Cool, we are friends. As Diedrich said, if Bishop was interested, I would know it. Okay. And that's for me to know and you to find out. All right. Okay.
Auntie, we ain't telling them what we do off screen.
We so ain't. We, like Mary said, they're good friends.
Right.
Well, so I thought that was really interesting. Again, with Jason putting Alexis in the mommy zone. I thought that it was fair. I thought that it was honorable for him to be upfront, and he really did say what was the truth. And you can't do anything but respect a man like that.
Yeah.
And when it came down to it, Bishop, I don't even think that she was as attracted to him as she alluded to or acted like she was, because she backed out very quickly.
I thought she was attracted to, I'm going to get in trouble, I know it. I thought she was attracted to a fantasy.
Yes.
Of being with the coach and being with her son's coach. I still get the feel like it's just this sort of forbidden fruit that she still wants to see what it's like. So she's sort of in love with this fantasy of getting with the coach. That's the only thing I get from her. Does that make sense, Auntie?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. Absolutely. Because some of us do be looking at them teachers like, Damn. How you doing, Professor Scump? Okay. How you doing, Professor Scump?
Right.
Okay. So the next date that I want to talk about is oh my God, I had it right. Ronald and
what did he go with? Chris Anthony?
He went out with Stacy first.
Stacy. Yes. One and the same.
Freaking frack.
Say what you say, Auntie?
Freaking frack.
Frick and
We
frack.
are not there to worry about who is Ronald. First of all,
here we go.
Jesus, please take the wheel.
No, you go ahead. Jesus, don't take the wheel. Give it back to Auntie.
Bishop. First of all, you on a date with Ronald. Why are you bringing another woman's name out of your mouth? This is your date with him. This is your opportunity to get to know him. But you going in the mommy zone, you in the friend zone, you in the mind your mofo business zone, like just completely out of control. And so Ronald now he's on a date where now he's on the defense. He's got to defend himself against these allegations, proclamations, interrogations, a deposition.
Go ahead, Auntie.
I mean, Bishop. Oh, Bishop is Sunday, so I'm trying to keep my mouth. Bishop, Bishop. What in the hell is wrong with Stacy?
Crazy Stacy. Crazy Stacy. Codependent Stacy. Just doesn't walk in her own identity. There's something that's going on there that I don't think we necessarily know or see. In terms of, so I don't know in terms of if she had friends in the past who might have cheated with her friends, and she's thinking. So I don't know if they're good friends or if she's just trying to guard herself to see what was going on. I'm thinking, so are you all really good friends or are you enemies and you're intimidated by her and you want to find out what other people think of her because maybe she's your competition? I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go out on a date with you, Bishop, and talk to you about another woman. She's irrelevant.
Yeah.
She's not at this table. I want this moment with you. I want this time with you. I want to get to know you. And I want you to want to get to know me. Why the fuck would I sit there and talk to you, Bishop, about my competition? I don't care about my competition. Yeah. But she was almost there selling chrysanthemum to him.
Yeah.
Did you pick that up?
Yes, I did. So I was thinking, all right, so are you really interested or do you want me to be interested in your friend?
Yeah. And he was like, I don't need this from her.
Yeah.
But I told you last week that the bitch was, And so, of course, that date ends, and now he's on a date with Chrysanthemum. So Ronald is a dancer, allegedly, because I don't know what Ronald was doing. But Ronald, decided that he was going to have this group date. And, he was going to invite in Chrysanthemum as his date. He had Joe and our girl.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pronounce her damn name right.
Venetia.
And he also had, who else did he have?
Stacy wasn't there. Who
was Stacy paired with?
No.
Yes,
was Amber there?
It was Stacy. It was Stacy. It was Stacy and was it AJ?
Tall AJ Beard.
Who was the other man?
I tell you, you make me look through my notes when I do this. But
I can't remember who the other man was. Was it David?
No.
I don't know, but whoever it was, she didn't click with them.
Right.
But Joe and what you call them, boy, do they got I think they're going to crash and burn, unfortunately. So during this time, they all came there because they thought they were going to be taking these lessons, and Ronald ended up being the instructor. And so, Ronald is teaching all of the couples how to, dance and all of that kind of stuff. When Chrysanthemum came through the door, he was intrigued. He was attracted to her. She was just absolutely beautiful. I don't think that Chrysanthemum is as pretty as everybody thinks. But anyway, to each his own, and that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But immediately when he began dancing with her, when they started their one-on-one dancing and everything, she went back to the number one spot, and I hear that I'm number two because her and her girlfriend is talking back and forth, strategizing behind the scenes instead of trying to go there and find real true love. Then we had Joe and Vernicia, who was dancing with each other. There's absolutely an attraction between the two of them. But I just think that, and he says all the time, okay, this is what I'm noticing, Bishop. He says all the time that I'm attracted to her because of what she's gone through and being a single mother and having to do. But is that enough? Is that enough to, is love admiration? Because to me, it appears that he admires her, but is he truly attracted to her? Help me out from a men's perspective, Bishop, because I was so waiting to ask you that question.
I love that observation that you made. I love the observation because I kept saying, brother, I'm hearing you say that you admire and that you are attracted to her because of what she has done and what her experience has been. I don't quite yet hear you say that you are attracted to her because of what you see in her heart or what emotions she seems to give. It's something about you're admiring her experience. You're admiring her strength. You're admiring her tenacity. But what about saying, I see something in her heart that makes me tickle when I see her, or I get the warm and fuzzies just when she touches my hand? Or, I mean, what about that? It has always been about her experience. And I think that's nice.
Yes.
I think that's nice, but that's all I keep hearing, how she raises her children. I think we'll be able to, we could blend our children together and all of that. But I keep thinking, so then, do you really see her inner beauty? Do you see her inner strength? Have you sensed the fact that that she can endure and that she could help you through a difficult situation, not just the death of your ex-wife or that, but what about her character makeup do you see and do you like? So it is just you can't admire her experience and fall in love with her experience, because her experience is going to change. Experiences change with time. She may never have those experiences again in her life. Are you still going to be attracted to her? But if you tap into her personality, into who she is, that's her character. That's the stuff she's made of. I love her ability to reason and stay reasonable in a chaotic situation. That's always who she's going to be. I love her ability to look at the bright side of life. I've seen her smile when people dog her out. That's who she's always going to be. I love her ability to speak strength into my day when I've had a bad day. That's always who she's going to be. That's who she is, not what she does.
Yes, Bishop.
Yeah. We've got to see beyond superficial and really, and especially at his age, you've got to see heart. You've been married before, you've got to see heart. And maybe you and I have said it before, maybe there's some part of production that where we don't see that.
Maybe.
But all we can go by is what we see.
And I'm just like, he got to get more deeper with this woman. And I know he's attracted to that big booty, and he loves how she feels in his arms.
Because he says she feels warm. He reached down and grabbed her and said, baby feels warm. You know that New Orleans accent? Yeah.
And the thing about it is she has, she's not like Tressa. She is not an average size, right? She's a little.
That's right. That's right.
Thick girl, right?
Yeah.
But Tressa's a thick girl. But Tressa's thick, and Tressa didn't get the tummy tuck.
Okay.
Vernisha is post tummy tuck. Tressa is pre tummy tuck. Tressa isn't me, right? Lost all its weight, but still got to get that stomach snatch.
Okay.
But I thought it was so unfair for him to be like, that's just not my type, when they talk to him, and that's just not my speed. But look at Vernisha though. She's not no slim girl.
Yeah. She's not. But
now they saying that Tressa was there, but who was Tressa? Tressa was at the dance, remember? Because Tressa was saying that they would say, she got a good personality, but she was like, I've never heard a man say, I'm so attracted to her personality.
I almost said something, Auntie. I almost said something.
What, Bishop? Say it.
Right. No, but you're right. Cause a man ain't gonna say, baby, give me some of that personality. So brothers, be honest with that. Come on. Be honest with the sisters. You got a beautiful personality.
Ron had to tell Chrysanthemum during the date, he left her hanging about being number one, because what she found out is that he been talking to Alexis Fly, and that's currently his number one, not Chrysanthemum. And she's like, I don't play second to anybody. Well, guess what? This is a dating competition. You're gonna play second to somebody, and you're lucky if you ever get in the number one spot. But I think, I don't like Chrysanthemum's attitude. I just something about her from the very beginning that rubbed me all the wrong kind of ways. What do you think? And then where did Ronald come up being the main man?
And this is from last week. So that shocked me, because Ron and both of our minds was suspect in terms of what are you adding at all to anybody. The only one that I remember even liking him was the Ida, who you know where Ida is. I'll pull it out in a moment, but you know where she is in terms of me. So I was thinking, whoa. So Ronald has moved up in somebody's mind as number one or number two or number anything.
Now, Janika Thompson says something that I thought. She says, and they should have made sure that the guys like heavier women too. I thought it was unfair to trust her. It was, because, it just seems like, the big girls can't win, and big girls get love.
Yeah.
Big girls get love too.
Yeah, I appreciate Janika's comment as well. I think when they pooled and surveyed the brothers, I think they should have asked them, what kind of women do you like? Are you open to all of these physical types? Let's be honest, brothers. Because the first thing we see is the physical.
Yeah.
So I think they should have asked the brothers, what physical types attract you? Are you open to the physical types that we're bringing to the show? Because if you're open to the physical types that we're bringing to the show, then all of the sisters are on an equal playing ground. Yeah, I think they're screening, they're weeding out. They could have done a better job to make sure that it was fair. And I'm big on emotional equality, to make sure that it was emotionally fair to all of the women. Don't bring people in a bad space and mistreat them. Just don't do that.
So IG Entertainment says, trust to shot herself in the foot. Who focuses on their size when a man asks them out on a date? A lot of women do, whether or not they feel like they're too skinny, or whether or not they feel like they're too big, whether we feel like our makeup is appropriate, our outfit. That is just something that we do, whether or not we're big or small. And I'm sure that the women in the comment section can attest to that. And here's the thing. Men struggle too.
We do, and Auntie, and again, I know I'm old fashioned. So a woman may bring up an insecurity, but the old fashioned me says it is a man's job to protect her in that insecurity. It is my responsibility to be a good steward of even that insecurity. So if we go out to dinner and she's a heavier sister, heavier woman, and she says something about her weight, it is the protector in me that safeguards whatever her insecurities are. Getting to know people, falling in love with people is about exposing your vulnerabilities. And one of the things that a man should be able to do is to safeguard a woman's vulnerability. So if she talks about her being too big or being too small or feeling awkward in any way, it is, and I get it, and I realize I'm in a different generation. I feel it is a man's responsibility to safeguard whatever that vulnerability is. So from some perspectives and vantage points, she may have shot herself in the foot. But from my vantage point, it was then a man's responsibility to catch that vulnerability and handle it properly.
because I think that they were using a homie instead of saying overweight.
Yeah. Yeah. You, you know how I feel about that. Don't mishandle people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
And
and
then go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Auntie. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because we want women to be able to say what they want to say. Getting to know each other means that you get to know all of those insecurities, and we've often talked about timing, but so whenever she feels like she wants to share that, it is about saying, okay, wow, you trust me in this moment to share your insecurity. Now let me show you that I'm not going to betray your trust.
Right.
That's all.
Um. Now this next person that I'm talking about, it has come onto the show and hasn't made any corrections. That fucking Chris. Excuse me for cussing on a Sunday morning. I just Sunday afternoon. Chris is doing the same thing he did the previous season. He got his hooks on Amber, and he cannot, or at least production is not showing that he has learned anything. He is dating only Amber. Now they went out and the two of them meditated because he wanted to take her into his zone and see whether or not she could click with that. She was in with the namaste and all that. And he thought that it was a wonderful date and he feels like he's making a connection with her. However, he's making the same mistake. He's putting all his eggs, in my opinion, just my opinion, in this one basket and has not had an opportunity to date anybody else, Bishop.
I'll stop you when you start lying. you know my country sayings come out. I'll stop you when you start lying, Auntie. I agree with you.
He doing the same thing.
Yeah, not strategic at all. Not
At
strategic.
all, at all. And then the two of them talked about marriage, and they were saying that marriage isn't the end game. That what they want to do is just connect to somebody. I guess if they shack 25 years, that's fine with them. But I don't believe that they're being honest. Neither of them. I think that
No.
they are appeasing each other and saying what but I think at the end of the day, if you're on this show, you're not looking for a happily ever shacky relationship. You're looking for a mate and a spouse. And it's saying, well, marriage isn't the end game. Okay, so what did you think about that comment, Bishop?
I think KG is just happy that he's still on the show as long as he's on the show. He's happy to have his hooks in somebody, and he's banking on Amber keeping him on the show a little longer. I'm not impressed with him. I'm not impressed with her, but I'm thinking he should have learned a little bit more, and
Absolutely.
he should have learned a little more strategy, and to how to play the game. And in terms of the show is about finding people who are ready to love. So I would have cautioned him: don't put a cap on what love looks like. Don't put a limit on what love looks like. I slice and dice, and I'd like that. If marriage is not the end game, then why? Yeah, don't put a cap on what the love is going to look like. Every time I hear that, I keep thinking, dumb.
So, Bishop, let's get to the masquerade party.
Okay.
So they're all at the masquerade party. The fly comes in with a full-fledged wedding dress on.
Did you like her dress? I couldn't wait to ask you what you thought about her.
No, she's like a Vegas stripper. I don't know why she thinks that this is fashion. She looked like a Vegas stripper. So, of course, that everybody comes to the thing and, the men are suited and booted and the women have on their very interesting dresses. Some of them look nice. Some of them did not. Tommy comes in and he talks about, taking off the mask and all of that kind of stuff. And he brings his wife with him. And I thought she looked very nice. I like that jumpsuit. It's very simple, very classic. Bishop, go take that over because My mind is going 50 miles per hour.
And then came Liz.
Liz came in with the girl. Who let the girls out? Whoa, 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 whoa. Who let the girls out? Liz said, bitch, you can sleep on me and think I'm a holier than thou church woman if you want to. She said, my
Yeah.
bike may be crooked, one may be up and one may be down, bitch, but I'm coming in here with the girls out.
When Liz walked in there, heads started heads started spinning. And Liz came in there, and Auntie, I'm telling you the truth. I don't think I was paying attention necessarily to the screen. Maybe that's why I've forgotten some of these dates at the beginning of the show. But when I looked up on that screen and saw Liz, I think I did this. Liz wasn't playing.
Liz was in charge of the girls and the boys.
Liz was in charge.
Liz shut that bitch down.
What did she do, Auntie?
She shut that bitch down.
Yeah.
Liz said, don't underestimate me. Don't have me in the church pew all day.
Mm-hmm.
Because the club Liz has come to slay. I'm in charge of the girls and the boys.
Yeah.
And the men all paused when she walked into the room.
Mouths dropped open.
Mouths was on the floor.
Yeah.
On the floor. And boyfriend went over there and said, I want people to know and think that I'm with you by my...
David,
stop peeing on her like she a tree.
Stop
And even the women were shocked when Liz came in there. She did not come to play. She didn't come to be freaking frack. She didn't come to get free food and a drink. She came to let these mofos know I am ready and available to love and to fuck.
as we say in the South, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Woo! All right.
Did she not?
Let me tell you something. Liz. Yeah.
Yes. Liz came in there and turned. Let me tell you something. Not only did everybody eyes on that television show pop, but you think that the viewers, the men that were looking and the women that was looking was like, bitch, the heck, what?
Even Tommy commented.
Tommy said, I wonder what the pastor thinking.
Yes, he did.
Liz said they may not be twins, but they show our sisters and they're coming to say hello. And it was red. Strategic. She needed to get herself out of that box. That church girl, you know, amazing grace. How she said, no, boo. She said, and all pause when I walk into the room.
Keep on going, Auntie. Keep on going.
I loved it. Because just because you love Jesus don't mean that you can't be sexy. And even though her breasticles was out, the dress, she had the line coming up just perfect. She was still showing that leg. She had the little swoosh, you know, she held her little dress. She had the swoosh. Liz did it. She did it. Liz. But Alexis had the ass out in the back. She had the stomach out in the front. It wasn't tasteful. It just was not tasteful. Stacy and her girl, Chrysanthemum, they looked like they talked to each other and was like, this is how we're going to do our hair and our dresses. Like, grow up. Grow up. So she got the eyes of Jason. Jason said, I made it a point to tell myself that you're going to have to be alone with her tonight.
Yeah. let me tell you, she walked through there, and there is something hot and sexy about a woman who allows her confidence to be on display from head to toe. Everything about her said, I'm here, I'm confident in who I am, and just in case you all have not seen my confidence, this is what the inside of me looks like. And she, Auntie, she was amazing. She was in that moment, she was amazing. And that is how, this is the truth. That is what every good dad, brother, uncle, grandfather wants their niece, daughter, and sister to be able to do. Stand in who you are and learn how to command an audience wherever you go. So we work so hard to pour into them, so that whenever they're in a space like that, can't nobody tell them they're not beautiful. Not that they think they're cute, but
Right.
that you're beautiful wherever you go.
Bishop, I remember I met this guy, right? And when I met him, I was, I had a like a little wrap on my head. My hair was long, maybe as long as it is now, but I can't remember. And so I met him. My hair was wrapped up and everything, and I met him out in the streets, and no makeup on, nothing, just regular old auntie. And so we decided that we were going to go out on a date. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll meet you, right? Because bitch, you ain't coming to pick me up. I'll meet you. When I came into the restaurant, I was serving. I was in charge of the girls and the boys that night. When he saw me with my hair down, my makeup on, my flawless outfit, he was like, girl, you sure clean up good. Unfortunately, I wasn't attracted to him once I met him at the restaurant.
That's okay.
But he was like, and I know that I have a tendency, I can change how I look, right? I like to look regular and all that kind of stuff. But when I'm coming to serve, I'm a Liz. And Liz showed that you can be beautiful inside out. You can step your game up without being offensive or looking whorish. And I loved it.
Word right out of my mouth. You took the word right out of my mouth.
I loved it. And the girls couldn't handle it. She shut the room down. The only one that was secure about her spot was Joel and
Elimination.
because I'm gonna tell you, all the men gave pause to her. What did you think about her conversation with? Oh, you was going to say
about Jason. With Jason,
yeah.
Did you see when that brother walked over there? And I saw a different side of him because there was something up to this point. I gotta admit, there was something about him that says, okay, school coach, kind of nerdy, school coach, nice kid, nice guy. When that brother walked over there and reached his hand out and swooped her hair back and made her almost forget her words and say, ha ha ha, I like that. Jason, brother, that was the move.
That was a move. Because even that would have made me blush. I would have forgot what the fuck I was saying too.
That was a move.
I was like, that was so sexy.
Yeah.
It was sexy without violating her space. Because I'm a space person.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God. Oh. But the way that he did it, it wasn't a violation of her space in my opinion.
Yeah.
Other women may feel differently.
Yeah.
But if a man did that to me, knock my little cornrow, my little braid on the side she said, I like that.
Mm-hmm. He read the moment well.
Yes.
He read the moment well. I think if his hand would have moved too fast, it would have startled her. But it moved at the right speed. He read the moment well. I think I think men can learn a lot from that moment. Read the moment well. And that was a hunter move. That was, I'm going after the prey move. And that was good. That was good.
C. Golden said, Alexis, that's what it looks like when a man is interested.
That's what it looks like. That Alexis, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Now, is this true what Doja Cat is saying?
I can't think of any men who don't like red.
Really?
I can't think of any men who don't like red. I love red. Yeah. Yeah.
It's my least favorite color.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I have it. And when I put it on, I do notice that men are different. But it's my least favorite color. I think I probably have in that closet right there. In this particular closet, maybe 3 red jumpsuits.
It's a stop sign. It
Really? So when I want to catch up, when I want to catch something, I'm feeling a little, I need to go out with red on.
All I can speak is for some men that I know, it's a stop sign. It makes your eyes stop.
Wow.
And go from head to toe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I'm a black woman.
We like that too.
Black is my favorite color. I just absolutely love being in black. I like being in white as well. But
we love those colors. Those colors allow our eyes to paint a canvas.
Oh.
Yeah, to take the canvas and just paint on it.
Okay. Well, let me step out today. I gotta go make a couple of runs today. Let me put on one of these little red jumpsuits.
Black, red, and white will do it.
Okay, so Bishop, let's talk about the men's session.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, all the men got together in the men's lounge, and now they have to make a decision about who is going to stay and who is going to go. The men begin to go around and talk about the women that they were interested in and the women that they were not interested in.
Yeah.
All of the men were interested in Liz.
All of them.
All of them. She was in charge of the girls. Thank you so much, Empress Star, for becoming a member. Thank you. Welcome to the family. Oh my God, thank you so much. So all of the men were interested in Liz.
In Liz. They like Liz. They like what they saw.
Who was next?
Who they liked. Let me go back up there. AJ said he was feeling Kyra.
We didn't talk about when Ronald was talking to Chrysanthemum and Alexis walked up.
And Ron left Chrysanthemum.
For Alexis.
Left Chrysanthemum, walked over there, and Chrysanthemum said she wasn't into competing with a woman over a man. That's what you're on the show for. That's what the whole show is about.
For her, and but you know what? Both Chrysanthemum and Stacy thought more higher than themselves than they ought to. They did. And remember last week I said I felt like she was above this man.
Yeah, you said that.
And guess what? Jay Song said something. He said, not just anything in red, a nice red dress.
You're right.
Well, Jay Song, I got a nice red jumpsuit that makes the men all pause when I walk into the room.
Yeah.
But I thought that was very interesting because Alexis is doing her work behind the scenes. She's not playing with these girls.
Do you hear her keep saying that she called so-and-so and she texted so-and-so, and there's a whole lot going on back in the background that Alexis is telling us about when she gets on camera.
And Ronald's liking it. She's
Yeah.
his number one.
Yes.
So it seems like the men also like the lawyer,
Kyra.
Kyra, but they haven't had an opportunity to talk about the other women. So the women that they decided that they did not like was Stacy. Yes. And they did not like the friend relationship between Stacy and Chrysanthemum.
That's right.
They did not feel like they had an opportunity to get to know either one of them because it was both of them at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And they also did not like Tressa. They put Tressa, back in the friend zone. And the one dude that was saving her, which was Deirdre, gave up on her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so Tommy said, you know what, I think that we found, we've made our decision. When you all talk to these ladies, I need you all to be kind and gracious because next week is going to be your turn on the block. And so we have David, I believe it was. Was it
David with Stacy?
David with Stacy. And I thought that was odd because they knew that David had already had a date with her. And I thought that they was, basically setting him up for some get back time with her. And then with Tressa, it was Deirdre. No, it wasn't.
No, Joel.
It was Joel. It was Joel. So do you want to break that down, or would you like me to continue to break that down?
Continue. Go ahead.
So when David got an opportunity to meet with Stacy, Stacy thought that this was a do-over. And so he opened up the conversation with talking about the relationship between her and Chrysanthemum and freaking Frack. And she said, why, do you all got a problem? Do you think you're going to get called on the carpet or you're going to get bust out or whatever? First of all, that's not your job. Your job is not to be the judge and the juror over these men. Your job is to make connections with these men and find a partner that you can take home with you. It's not to try to, bust anybody out or call anybody out or anything like that. So you already got your whole objective has changed and it's wrong. Second of all, this is not a find my girlfriend, sister wives type of relationship. This is for me to do me and you to do you. If we have a relationship and we build a friendship with one another, that's cool. But we can handle that after the fact. Right now, you're my competition. You're my competition. So I can't make my friend my competition. Now we can have a friendly competition, but bitch, you ain't gonna be my friend when we out here chasing, 8, 7, 6 of the same men. Like we can't do that. And so
I hope your nieces and nephews are putting in the comment how you are reading her the way they talked about me reading Dietrich. Y'all, I hope y'all are putting that in the comments because the way you just went through and read her, you shredded her.
You think so, Bishop?
Yes, and I love it. Yes, you did, and I loved every minute of it.
I was so kind though. And so, he basically was like, I was interested in you. I was interested in you.
Yeah.
But you had a whole lot with you. And now you in a friendship. And so you know what? The men made a decision that you're not ready to love.
Yeah.
It floored her.
He told her, he said, because we don't know if there is any true genuineness. And when he said that, she almost fell back on that seat. She said, really? I feel like I've been bamboozled. No, you haven't been bamboozled. You've been busted.
She feel like she been cheated. She was cheated.
I feel cheated and shocked. Well, yeah.
Let's just go ahead and give a moment of silence for this bitch. Enough.
Not a long moment. Auntie, but what did you think of that comment she made at the end? She said, I felt like I let my kids down. You're not on the show for your kids.
Desperate. So desperate. You trying to find a baby daddy? First of all, your relationship is in my opinion. Okay. This comes from my experience as being a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm dating, she'll know. because I don't want her to even think or have any hope that mommy gonna be bringing home a pseudo daddy. Very rarely did my daughter know that when I was dating, because I'm not looking for a replacement for you. I'm looking for companionship for me.
Please say that again. Women need to, but really, and I hate this, probably sexist. Women need to get that. The brother is after you. You are the prize. You are the prize. If you have children to come along, that's a bonus.
I feel a little emotion. I gotta back up for a minute.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
It hit very close. And I understand where she's coming from, but she's misdirected.
Okay.
And she has to understand that she has to want companionship for herself, not a pseudo daddy,
Well,
not a replacement daddy. You can't date for that reason, because then you'll find somebody who will be a daddy but won't be a lover, won't be a friend, won't be a partner. You can't look for a daddy because you don't need to be fathered. And if that man loves you, truly loves you, and you find companionship in that man, he'll love your children. And even if he has no experience with being a daddy, he has experience from loving you. And that love that he has for you will transfer to your children. And you got to know that that this is what this man wants, because a lot of men don't go into a relationship dating a single mother with the idea of I'm going to be a daddy. That grows over them over time. So
mm-hmm.
you out here interviewing daddies. That's why you've been so judgmental of these men. That's why you haven't made connections, because it ain't no Santa Claus there. It ain't nobody gonna be sitting around with the kids on his knees with a bearded suit on, and that's gonna be bringing toys and all good things and all cheer. That's not how it works. So she didn't ever give these guys a chance because none of them are daddy figures but Joel. He's the only one that has led with his children. Even David has what, 50 kids? No, I'm just kidding.
He has kids.
He has 4.
Uh-huh.
But he's not leading with that daddy vibe, because those things come afterwards. So for me, I've always dated for, let me see if I can be a friend with them. Let me see if I can be a, if first of all, if I want to commit. Because in the past, I had a problem with commitment. Just didn't want to commit. And they always say that men have those issues, but we women have those issues as well. We'd be lying if we said we didn't. I
Thank you.
had a serious problem with commitment. It wasn't because I was a whore or a cheater or anything
Right.
like that. It was just that I just had that problem because of what I saw coming up, right?
Right.
But when she said that, I feel like I failed my children. I was like, you was in this for all the wrong reasons. Oh, but yet I think it was her that said that she did not believe that Alexis was in it for the right reasons. Do you remember she said
I
that to
think that's right.
Ronald?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Will it take one to know one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What'd you think, Bishop?
Well, Auntie, I'll tell you what I think. At the beginning, when she started asking men about chrysanthemum and other people and all of that, and I thought she was abrasive, I said, she really has the potential to be a trophy. she has the potential to be such a trophy. But on this show, based on her actions, I think she needs to be recycled. I think she needs to be recycled. And Auntie, let me show you what I put on the back of her trophy. I drew, I hope you can see, at the top, I put these clouds because I thought she was shady. And I put those two round things here, her and Chrysanthemum, because they were so connected, and that was part of her demise. So interconnected, but she was also a shady person. And so, I'm not taking anything from her. She certainly has the potential to be a trophy, but not on this show. Recycle for somebody else. How about the shocker? The shocker was that they said it's not just one, but it's two. They were strongly opinionated, Auntie, about getting rid of two people. When I heard that, I thought, oh, good. Now, Joel has taken Tressa to the room to date her and have a conversation. But when I heard, okay, Stacy is the one to go, that's good. She needs to go. Then all of a sudden, when I heard Joel say, we decided on two. And then I heard him say, she said, sorry, Sonia. Joel said it's two. And Tressa said, it is what it is. She was hurt, but I think she had come to grips with the reality and where she was on the show. I think she knew it was impending. She knew it was going to come. She knew it was inevitable, and it happened. But I have to say this. I so appreciated the way that Joel handled Tressa. In his conversation, he said to her, this ain't easy. He said, this ain't easy, which, gave him more points because, in my mind thinking, right, this is a brother who still recognizes he's trying to create an emotional safe space for this sister.
What you talk about all the time.
All the time. And I wanted her to leave the show, not because I thought she was any kind of loser, but I wanted her to leave the show because I wanted her to be emotionally okay and just move on and not feel like she was being yo-yoed by some brothers who didn't know how to handle her. So for as much as she was leaving, she's always going to be a treasure. She's always going to be a treasure. So what I did, Auntie, on the back, on her trophy, I drew her with the big hair and the heart because I love her. See this little heart?
Yes,
I love her. And I think she's a loving person. So I'm not going to drop Tressa. I'm going to delicately place her in the bin. And it's okay, Tressa. If you're watching, it's okay. Because we love you. You go on and be emotionally well and emotionally whole. And listen, be the comedian that you want to be. Let your personality shine and ring. And the next time you get on a show like this, you ask the producers, have you screened the men to make sure they like what I'm going to present? Because I'm not playing anybody's game and putting myself out there to become anything for somebody who may not potentially want me. I don't play that kind of game.
But I felt so sad for her though, Bishop, because I thought about so many other women who feel rejected because of their weight.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of her weight necessarily. Because even small women, small petite cute women with cute little shapes like Stacy go home.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want her to walk away with that. I didn't want her to walk away with feeling like it was because she was a big girl. While that did have that weighed into it, I just didn't want her to feel like that.
And you know what, Auntie, I think I grew up with a mother who would not let her boys body shame women. My mother would not let us do that. As a matter of fact, she would not let us make fun of what anybody considered a physical flaw. So if your hair didn't grow like you wanted, she wouldn't. We got in trouble for doing stuff like that. If you had skin defects or scars, we could not laugh and make fun of stuff like that. We just couldn't get away with it, and that has really come into my 50 plus years of becoming a grown man. I don't make fun of people with any physical stuff because everybody, to the extent that they can, really want to present their best selves all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Bishop, as we know, every week your auntie and a bishop make a prediction the week before of who we believe is going to go home. And if I can remember last week, you wrote down my predictions. Can you please reveal to the guest and to the family who your auntie thought was going to go home last week?
Let me just say I was wrong and Auntie was right. I was 50% right, but Auntie was 100% right. So I had said Tressa and Amber. Auntie said no. Bishop, I think it's going to be Stacy.
And you were shocked.
I was shocked. And you were 100% correct. You were 100% correct. Yeah. Here you go. I'll pat you on the shoulder, give you a high five. You were spot on. You were spot on. Will you have a prediction for next week?
I do.
All right, I'm gonna write Auntie's. Okay. Your prediction. Let me turn this volume down here. All right.
All right, let me go through the men.
I'm writing mine down too, by the way.
But you are revealing it to me, right? And to the guys.
I'm going to reveal it to you.
Let me look at their faces real quick. Because I think you're going to be shocked at who I say.
Okay. I've written mine down.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I believe it's either going to be Chris, aka KJ Smooth, or Diedrich. Okay.
So I'm gonna write yours. So we're on the same sheet of music.
Chris and Diedrich.
Dag,
I had to breathe with that one.
I was wondering. I was holding on. I was gonna tell your nieces and nephews, y'all, please write something. Let me see what y'all think.
So look, there's quite a few people, Bishop. So look, here we got C. Honey. She says Diedrich. Ross says Ron, maybe. He got too much drama going on, Ron?
He's moved up in the status a bit.
Ray Della says David or KJ.
Okay.
Valencia says Diedrich, maybe Chris if he don't move around. He's okay. Just here says Diedrich.
Okay.
Big sis Candace says Chris.
Okay. KG.
Lola 6 says Diedrich.
Okay.
Tisa Lee says Ron and Diedrich.
Okay.
It seems like Diedrich is the most popular, the most common denominator, right?
Yeah.
Bishop, this show good as this is Bishop, this is a good show.
Yeah, yeah. So Auntie, when I give it the low ratings, it's because somebody has upset me.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody has upset me. Okay. Okay. At Juby, says Dietrich and Chris. Okay.
That's what I think.
All right.
And I think Chris, because he hasn't moved around and he hasn't learned.
Has to play the game.
And next Friday, the goal is for them not to date someone that they're connected to.
Right.
They have to go outside. So Abba ain't gonna be with Chris ass.
That's right. That's right.
And Deirdre hasn't really connected to anyone. The only people he connected to, they're both going home. Tracy and Tressa.
Yeah. Yeah.
He hasn't really made any connections with any of the other women, or at least production is not allowing us to see that, if that is indeed happening.
That's right. And there's a lot of that going on this season. There's a lot of that.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Auntie, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Any final words?
No, I want to say to your nieces and nephews, I've enjoyed spending this Sunday afternoon with you all. I really have. And forgive me for going off. Forgive me for going off on
No,
people,
but don't you ask. Stop.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Forgive me for going off on them, but again, it gives them an opportunity to be recycled.
At least you recycle them, because if I had something, it'd be a damn trash can. And I've got
Where's your fly swatter today?
I have to wear my jewels next week, because I'm like down. And I'm telling you, like today I had the dogs. I was assigned to the dogs. So I didn't have time, because I got to make sure that those, two are taken care of.
Yeah, I want you to break out those rings and jewelry again, and that fly swatter.
I'm down. And the thing about it is, some of the clowns, if I had the rings on, which represented the men, some of the clowns are still in the house. And I'm not showing that. So I have to make sure you got to tag me earlier and say, hey, Auntie, don't forget your stuff. Because some of the clowns that I predicted as clowns are still in the house.
And they're still clowns.
And they're still clowns as far as I'm concerned, especially AJ. I don't think there's no substance to AJ.
A clown.
That's just my opinion. And I think that after the men, he's going to be the next one after these two go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he need to get by to them. He playing games. Carolyn said, a big sis Candace said, I enjoyed the review as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace.
Carolyn Reese said, y'all have been a great team. Thank you. Yeah,
thanks, Carolyn.
I can't even imagine doing this without Bishop. Like, for real.
She made me do it. She made me.
I love the way Joel talks. You heard me. You heard me. Yeah, that gets on my nerve a little bit.
That New Orleans piece.
Yeah, just to be a little bit more creative and everything. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. I thank everybody who super chatted. Thank you all so much for your support. Don't forget, if you are interested in hearing more from the Bishop, please follow him on YouTube at Let's Talk to Cutler. He gives inspiration, thoughts for the week. He is an author 7 times over, and he will leave you on Tuesdays and Thursdays enlightened, and give you the word to help carry you through your life. It's simple, it's practical, and it's something that you can apply to your daily life, right? So if you get an opportunity and you're in need of something like that, don't forget to follow him on Let's Talk to Cutler on YouTube. And if you've been here more than twice, if you have seen at least 2 of these reviews, damn it, you family. So you might as well hit that damn subscribe button. And when you hit the subscribe button, hit the damn notification bell, so that every time I go live, you go live with me, and you won't be in the chat saying, oh my God, I missed it. The only reason why you missed it because your ass ain't subscribed and you didn't hit that damn button, okay? Okay. So again, as I said, 2 times. You know, when you first come to somebody's house, you a guest. You give them a little tour of the house and everything, and you know, you feed them, you host them, you put their plate out
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. You know,
Right.
after they come the second time, you be like, bitch, the refrigerator right there. Okay, go fix your own. Okay,
Right.
you know how we do, Bishop.
Right.
After
That's
you
right.
did it a couple of times, you family now.
You're not a stranger. You're not a stranger.
You're not as ain't nobody serving you. Ain't nobody got to tell you where the bathroom was. You remember
That's
where it was the
right.
last time we moved the bitch. It's still there. So if you have been here at least 2 times, you family. So you might as well act like family. Subscribe to the channel. All right. I love you all so much. Thank you all. Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, y'all. We're about to say bye. Say bye, Bishop.
Bye bye, you all. See you next time.
Love y'all.
Thanks, Auntie.